happy because going through a midlife crisis is natural. For me, when I realized that I was going through a midlife crisis, it was a sort of a revelation to me because there was a lot of inner turmoil. Something switched in me and just said, it's not working. It's not working. And that it's natural to feel these things in your midlife. A crisis can be worked through and resolved. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I'd love to combine content creation, the outdoors, and inspiring people to live their true purpose. So the topic I want to talk about today is finding your purpose. I'm really working on that these days and finding my purpose. I feel like what I'm learning is that I've lived quite a reactive life, and not intentionally. It just happens. And when you live more of a reactive life, meaning reacting to the surroundings and not really deciding what your true love is and what your true purpose is. And it happens for various reasons, but for me, I won't get into the details, but has to do with how I grew up. And my goal as a Gen Xer right now and turning 47, some things have been triggered inside of me to understand what my true purpose is and to really dig into and do the work on what's going to make me happy because going through a midlife crisis is natural. It's a milestone, and think of all the milestones that we hit across our developmental path from birth to death. Most of the milestones are within the first 5 years of our lives, but then we hit puberty, and then we hit adulthood, and then the milestones come later. And developmentally, okay, there's things that happen in your life that are milestones. You're married, you have children. Those are all very important too, but think inside genetically and developmentally what those milestones are and how often we experience them through our developmental pathway. And so now I'm hitting middle age, and a midlife crisis is a developmental milestone, just like menopause is. And I haven't hit that yet, but I'm waiting for that to come along. I'm expecting that come along sometime soon. But for me, when I realized that I was going through a midlife crisis, it was a sort of a revelation to me because there was a lot of inner turmoil in terms of how I was feeling, what were my contributions to the world, how am I living my life with purpose? Am I living my life with purpose? Am I living my life with trueness to what I can provide to the world? And I thought I was. I tried to make decisions towards those things, but there was always something inside me that said, I don't know if I love this. And I've seen people love things and get immersed in them and could speak for hours and hours and hours on them and just do them nonstop with the love of you know furious love, furious intensity. And I never really had that for anything except for my family. Um, so that's one thing that I sort of recognize is that I have this love for my family and for doing things for my family. Um, that I want to feel also outside my family experiences. And so that inner turmoil lent me to talk to my friends and tell them how I'm feeling. I want to contribute to the world. I thought I was making decisions to contribute to the world healthily. Got my PhD in drug discovery to help people with rare diseases. And then I moved into biopharma so I can get closer to the people and help doctors with point of care decisions. So I was making the right decisions. I was making the moves that I thought were right for helping people. So throughout this recent inner turmoil I've been having, I've been telling myself, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep trying to help people. Just do the best you can to try and help people. And then something switched. I don't know if it's a biological switch that has genetic underpinning, but something switched in me and just said, it's not working. It's not working. So I really dug deep inside myself. I talked to some friends. Friends are very, very valuable, and thank you for walking me through this, you guys. But so in speaking to my friend and telling her about how I was feeling, which I don't normally do. I mean, I was crying. It was true turmoil. It was true, I don't know what's going on inside of me. And it pays to talk to your friends, guys. So talk to your friends when you're in need and get the help that you need. Anyway, she recognized that I might be going through something that she understood to be uh, really natural and something beautiful. And she led me to this podcast it's called the Huberman Lab podcast. I'll link to it to below. And it was talking with this renowned scientist and researcher about finding your purpose and creating the life that you need, or something like that. I'll link to it in the description below. And I avoided listening to it because I was afraid that it would open up some things that I wasn't ready to hear. But a week later, I went for a walk in the woods, similar to what I'm doing today, and I listened to it. And I started crying the first hour because it spoke to me so truly and clearly. And it gave me a context for what I was feeling, and that it's natural to feel these things in your midlife. And I almost wanted to give a midlife crisis a different term, as one might do to make it a little bit more positive, but that's what it is in the literature, and that's what it is, a midlife crisis. But a crisis can be worked through and resolved. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm sort of on my midlife journey to understand what my life's purpose is. And that was the point of my conversation with you guys today, which is it's important to find your purpose. And so I'm digging deep. I'm doing a lot of soul searching, but also I'm a scientist by trade, so I need to understand if there's biological underpinning. It just makes me feel more comfortable to know that, you know, it's been observed in the natural world in many many experiences. So anyway, so I've been doing a lot of soul searching and reading a lot of books. There's a book that I'm listening to on Audible right now called Mastery, and the author is Robert Greene, and I will link to that below. But it's very insightful in terms of how do you find your mastery. So I'm about 5 hours into the 16-hour book, and it's been very informative and eye-opening. And for me, it's a matter of working through this midlife crisis, through finding my true purpose. And if you've seen from my previous videos and reels and shorts and posts, the outdoors is my true passion. And I'll save that story for another day upcoming. But it's all coming into alignment for me right now, in the sense that finding my purpose, the book tells you, in the book called Mastery, it'll share with you how it's important, if you're a little bit lost, to reach down back deep into what sparked your interests as a child, in childhood. And for me, I remember spending hours and hours and hours daydreaming and looking through and thinking about being a snowboarder, and or being a surfer or going scuba diving. I lived in North Dakota for all of my childhood, and if you know North Dakota, there's not a lot of extreme outdoor activities you can do when it comes to snowboarding and surfing. Um, so I wasn't exposed to those things, unfortunately, and we were quite poor. We couldn't travel, so I didn't experience those things. Even, as a family going on vacations, we never went on vacations anyway. So the outdoors sort of saved me, and I'm going to talk about that in another video upcoming. But I think my true purpose now has to do with something with the outdoors, and I've shared a lot of the experiences that I have with my family in the outdoors, and I want to share that more with the world, that the outdoors is a beautiful place where you can forge bonds and create wonderful lasting memories with your children and your family, because that's the place that I'm at right now. But I'll do some solo things too, because I love to be out just by myself in the woods, as I do often, as I am right now. And I think that's going to be my purpose. And if I can build that into something that brings value and meaning to you guys as viewers, as consumers of this content, I would really love to share that and share my heart with you from the outdoors perspective. So the point of this video was to talk about purpose. I am on a path to find my true purpose. And I hope that you can also experience and go after your true purpose in life, whatever that is. I know, as a kid, we have these sparks of interest and they get suppressed for one way or another. And then responsibilities arise. But what's wonderful about this day and age is that there are amazing opportunities now to follow those interests and make a living and a career out of it. Hence, maybe I'm, moving more towards the content creation phase in my life. And I'd love to combine content creation, the outdoors, and inspiring people to live their true purpose through the outdoors. There's a horse rider over there. Fun. So that's where I'm at now. So I'll sign off by saying I encourage you all to find what interests you, follow your interests, dig deep into them. Think of it in terms of an apprenticeship. Do everything that you can to understand what your interest is there. Follow it as far as you can to reach your full potential in whatever that may be. Woodworking, outdoor activities, cooking, building things from cardboard. I mean, the options are limitless. So spark that interest, follow it, continue to nurture it throughout your life and experiences, and I encourage you to continue on doing that. Check out those books though, and that podcast in particular was a really lifesaver, and it sort of gave me some direction in terms of how to start working on my needs internally to calm this inner turmoil that I've been experiencing. So as always, stay safe, stay curious, follow along, hit subscribe if you want to follow in our adventures. And I'll be updating you on my soul-searching activities along the way. And I hope to see you throughout and on the other side. Take care. Have a good day. We'll see you down the road.